cover what is happening with Binance. We know that CZ has just pled guilty to charges levied against him. Oh, great. Let me bring this up on my window. Why is my window not working? Nothing works when you want it to work, right? But anyways, so the chief executive of Binance, Zhao Chengpeng, has resigned and pleaded guilty to U.S. criminal charges of failure to protect against money laundering. And this is the whole DOJ case that was levied against him. Now, we're going to talk a bit about what is going to happen to CZ. He's currently released on bail. But we're also going to talk about what's happening to him personally. We're going to talk about what's going to happen to Binance. More importantly, we're going to talk about what is happening to crypto, because this is the biggest event to happen to crypto for a long ass while. The markets are still reacting. Markets are down, but I view this as the most bullish event that will happen before the next bull run really starts, right? We see that this is the starting of the bull run, and this is the one event. All right, this is the one spark that we need to really take the markets off. And this is, I honestly see this is CZ's sacrifice, right? He sacrificed himself, so Binance is basically now a legit regulated exchange. He sacrificed himself so that basically crypto can grow. Now that the huge cloud looming over crypto is now resolved by a fine of $4.3 billion. It's not a small fine, okay? It's not a small fine at all. But now that it is resolved by this fine, holy crap. Crypto is now going to enter that new space of completely, like, no roadblocks in terms of US law enforcement, in terms of growth. ETFs are just popping forward. So I view this as some crazy, insane growth opportunities here, guys. So this is why in my tweets today, I'll show you my tweets. I'm like, literally, I'm buying Bitcoin. Like, this is like, I'm FOMOing in, buying Bitcoin, spot buying. All right. This is very important as well. I'm spot buying. All right. Let me throw this up for you guys. I'm spot buying Ethereum. I'm spot buying Bitcoin. All right, I'm entering. Still a little bit of dollar cost average because I see there's uncertainty in the markets over the next few days. Ethereum, Bitcoin, I'm buying this. Why? Because I view this as that last spark we need before we need to enter that bull markets. Right now, sure, some traders are afraid. Some people are like, oh my God, panicking. Oh my God, there's a big fine. CZ, the head of Binance, is going down. What I do? Guys, this was a calculated move, right? I see this as a calculated move. I didn't expect things to go so quickly, honestly. All right. I didn't expect things to go so quickly, but I see this as a super calculated move on behalf of Binance. Binance knew what they're doing. CZ knew what he was going to get into. That's why he was immediately released, right? He didn't even like, he chose to step foot into a U.S. Anyways, I'll discuss this in the full video. But he chose to step foot into a U.S. court, right? This is really like we have to look at the details here. This is why the winners in crypto, they're the ones that read between the lines, and this is what we do on this channel. We read between the lines with what is happening. So we stand a massive advantage going forward. So whilst everyone is scared, I am bullish as hell. Right? More bullish than usual, bullish as hell. And this is why I'm making this video. And this is why this video is also late. It's because I was buying, all right? I was literally taking money out, throwing it into exchange, all right? You're gonna say it was Bybit Exchange. If you guys do want to go join Bybit Exchange, there's a link, referral link, I'll put it down below. But I was throwing money into the exchange, buying Bitcoin, buying Ethereum, all right? This is everything that's happening. I was like, I'll show you screenshots, whatever, if you guys are worried, but like buying, all right? And the spot buying, right? Spot buying, buying up, buying the dip, all right? So anyways, guys, welcome to the stream. Say hi to everyone. Say hi to everyone here. Tell me where you guys are from. We got Llama666 joining, Crypto Graham joining, Blade Runner joining. We have a lot of people joining today's stream. Oh, let's play the intro. Let's go. All right, now we officially start the stream. Just make sure, guys, also just before we last note before we start, please do smash up the like button. It really does help this channel grow. We're starting and resuming those live streams, those very important live streams that we have and we have been doing. So make sure you smash up those buttons. It really gets the stream out there. So first of all, what happened? All right, let's just take a brief look at what happened. So first and foremost, so CZ pleads guilty of U.S. criminal charges of failure to protect against money laundering. The Binance itself pleaded guilty to a host of criminal charges related to money laundering, breach of financial sanctions, agreed to pay more than 4.3 billion in sanctions. So exactly what did they plead guilty to? So it's an unlicensed money service business, right? So yet again, that's quite funny, right? Because yet again, how could you get a license, right? Like, please explain to me how this could have been licensed. But anyways, let's read through the list before I give some comments. So first and foremost, so it's a failure to register with the U.S. Financial Crimes Enforcement (FinCEN) to prevent you and partly to prevent U.S. regulators from discovering facilitate crypto trades with its clients without properly checks on its users. So basically, they didn't check their users properly if they were money laundering or not, right? Money laundering checks. So basically, U.S. said that Binance facilitated billions of dollars of crypto transactions for its customers, including in the United States, without implementing so-called know your customer checks. This is very early on when Binance just started. So when Binance started, you could withdraw without KYC. You can't do this now, all right? You cannot do this now. But before, when Binance first started, there was a withdrawal limit of 2 BTC. I think it was 5 and it got changed to 2 BTC without any KYC. So you don't have to enter who you are. You don't have to put your passport into it. So this was very, very early on the exchange. So they also said sanctions violations. US said that Binance had significant customer base from sanctioned jurisdictions and was aware that Iran represented the majority of such customers. So Iranian customers were on Binance. And basically the DOJ basically looked at transactions from January 2018 to May of 2020, and they said Binance processed 1.1 million crypto transactions worth at least $898 million between U.S. customers and those who lived in Iran. So yet again, this was basically financial dealings, transactions between customers, and you know that it was actually quite easy to pull money out. So yet again, let's continue. Terrorist financing. This is probably the worst one of them. So basically, failed to report suspicious transaction associated with Palestinian militant group Hamas. The authorities said. So basically, it's essentially just operating like a bank, but without sufficient checks. Essentially, that was what the U.S. government say. I do have to remind everyone, right? This sounds bad on the outset, right? Tracker. I have to remind everyone here that if you look at for banks or every bank out there, they basically can be found and they have been found guilty of violations. So if you look at, let's say my favorite Bank of America, like this is a good site to look at, other other violations basically that's happening in the banking industry. So yet again, I think what happens is that this is a huge list actually. So I just want to point this out. Just like this is actually quite common in the traditional finance industry, and banks are guilty of exactly the same thing. So I just want to point that out here before we really move on. But yet again, I feel like this is the first time Binance has been hit with something like this, which is why it felt so big. But I just have to remember, guys, just look at Violation Tracker. It's a really good website to show you what is going on. But it's also very important. It just gives you context, right? Because at the end of the day, like, I got very jaded when I got into crypto. Right? Why did I get very jaded? Is because I knew that something like this happens all the time, right? Like, you have to realize that. I'm just watching my stream. I'm trying to type everything in at the same time and try to multitask. It's literally impossible. But this happens in the banking industry. The banking industry is very, very guilty of this, right? So I don't really think that Binance is that super at fault here, to be honest. Like, like I don't know how to describe it. Anyways, I'll give my opinions later. Let's go through all the charges. Let's go through all the facts first. So basically, CZ actually went into court in Seattle. This is one detail that you have to remember, right? CZ actually traveled to the US. He normally lives in the UAE. He lives like basically in like he always resides in countries that doesn't have US extradition treaty. But this time he chose to travel to Seattle. This is a very important detail that you have to remember, that this is a conscious decision. CZ did not drag this out, right? We knew that this was happening last week. Oh, sorry, not last week, yesterday, that the DOJ was open to talking. Today, instantly, there was an agreement, right? And the agreement was actually larger than the $4 billion amount. So I feel like they had a very fast negotiation where both parties were very happy with the outcomes, and then boom, it's moved on, right? CZ himself, all right, CZ himself, he has resigned from Binance. So he basically, because of pleading guilty, right? So let's just very quickly read. So CZ says, today I stepped down as CEO of Binance. Admittedly, it was not easy to let go emotionally, but I know it is the right thing to do. I made mistakes, and I must take responsibility. This is best for our community, for Binance, and for myself. Binance is no longer a baby. It's time for me to let it walk and run. I know Binance will continue to grow and excel with the deep bench it has. Basically, now he puts a new CEO in charge. This is Richard Ten. He was initially the head of regional markets. This, I would say, is now the new face of Binance for the Western markets. But we all know, if you guys are in crypto, and you know that the real face of Binance and is actually He Yi, basically co-founder and chief service officer, but technically she was the boss, right? We know that this is the real boss of Binance. We're going to read between the lines, but we know what is published, but we know that the real boss of Binance is He Yi. If you guys remember from my interview and my visit to the Binance office when they first started, He Yi was the only one in the Binance office with a full office. Right, this is a very important fact to remember. CZ was sitting out in the pit, right? The pit of engineers, CZ was sitting out in the pit, but there was only one office. There's only one full office with a closed door, and you can have shades and just like hide what you're doing. There was only one full office. That was He Yi's office. This is the real boss, right? They call her Yi Jie in China, like Sister Yi, right? And she is the face for Asian markets. CZ is the face for Western markets. So I'm not sure if you guys knew this, but she is kind of the real person in charge. And we know very likely that. So even though CZ is removed from office, he cannot no longer serve executive roles as part of their agreement after stepping down. He can no longer serve as an executive role, but he still is allowed to keep his holdings in Binance, which is yet again super important, right? You know that, like, yet again, where the power resides. The face has changed, right? But the power resides there. So CZ announced he stepped down, all right? There's a full tweet there, the full tweet. What's next for me? He's going to take a break, blah, blah, blah. He can't be able to see CEO of driving a startup again. He also wants to point out that there's no allegations that Binance misappropriated any user funds. Funds are safe, and there's did not allege that Binance engaged in market manipulation. Yet again, these are points that he probably fought for, right? If you read between the lines here, and we're starting to read between the lines, right? They fought for these points. We knew that from yesterday that the the Department of Justice signaled that they were ready to talk, and I think they're probably in talks for a long time, right? This is all a charade for the general public, right? Let's read between the lines. We know that this discussion happened a long time ago. We know that CZ is going to be released because he wanted to secure that for himself. It was very like they won't say this, but literally, like, we know these are the parts of the deal, right? Like, yeah, okay, pay a fine. CZ gets he's the scapegoat. He's the bad guy. He's now hung out to dry. That's why in many ways he's like the crypto Jesus now, right? He's a martyr. He got blamed for everything. Everyone can now stone him. Okay, great. The Department of Justice bagged the guy, right? Maybe he's gonna go to jail. We'll see. We'll see what happens afterwards, right? Because right now he's on bail, but we'll see. Maybe he will actually literally serve out a sentence, right? Then there's an explanation for everything, all right? But now everything's legit, right? Now he's saying like let Binance run from going from walking to running because he sees this is where the opportunity is. So, anyways, going back to these points, I think this is a situation where I was making this joke yesterday, right? There was a scene in Pirates of the Caribbean where Johnny Depp was parking his boat, and he's like, "There's a boat parking fee," and they're like, "Oh, you know what? It's shilling to park your boat here." And he's like, "What say you do 4 shillings? Only we forget the name." Bad reenactment, but the idea here is they pay. They probably paid a little bit more. They probably negotiated to beyond what the SEC wanted, but they basically said terms here. Don't accuse us of taking user funds. All right. Don't accuse us of market manipulation. Right. So yet again, very likely, very likely that this was just like beyond. They argued, they fought for these points because that's how Binance can keep its reputation. What I didn't expect, all right, I'll be honest here, I didn't expect CZ to take the fall. I think I expected that they would reach a settlement, but I did not expect CZ to be the fall guy for this. I thought because he's just such a big name, he needed to keep his reputation. So I didn't expect him to plead guilty on these charges. I expected him to kind of push this a little bit further, say, forget my name, forget that I was part of this, but he took the fall for it. And I feel like this is a very fast reaction. This is like, in many ways, I feel like everyone senses that the bull market is coming, and Binance wants to clear this black cloud that was over them, and they want to clear it fast. All right. They want to clear it fast. They want to get it over with, which is why CZ honestly is a legend. He just took the fall, right? He took the fall for this, right? He pleaded guilty. He took the fall. He stepped down, all right? We still know that He Yi is going to be in charge, all right? We know He Yi is going to be in charge, right? And she, in fact, she's been doing heavy damage control. So she's saying, yeah, Binance did not allege do not allege that Binance misappropriate any users' funds, and do not allege that Binance engaged in market manipulations. We would be better in compliance. Keep building, all right? So this is, yet again, she's doing heavy damage control. New page, she's like, already promoting Richard 10. Now we're all following Richard 10 now. So she's doing damage control. She usually doesn't come out in the West. Remember, He Yi is Chinese facing, right? EJ is Chinese facing. She doesn't really usually come out, but I think she needs to come out in this time because CZ is stepping down. So He Yi needs to step up. Right. So anyways, the real power behind Binance on what's going on. By the way, guys, if you like this stream, if you like us reading between the lines, please smash up the like button. And this is, yet again, what's happening to CZ. I feel like CZ really just is the fall guy. I really feel like he just, the only thing really, I said this, right? The only thing he's really guilty of is pushing crypto forward, right? He was fast, he grew fast. I'm sure it was just it's like compliance issues, and every exchange will face the same issue, right? Every exchange, if you're in crypto, you have to face the same issue. But they've cleaned up their act, they paid the fine, and CZ just became the fall guy for it, right? So I said, I honestly think, honestly, it's the only thing CZ really is guilty of is spreading crypto and Bitcoin. I feel like this is my personal take, that's honest, man, honest. And I think the crypto community, a lot of us are thinking the same thing. People who are in the industry, we know that there are shadier actors out there. We know, if you really want to look at violations, go on this page, right? Everyone's thinking criminal and putting these, every time money gets involved, the Americans just throw terrorism. Oh my God, they throw it at them. But go really look at violation tracker, right? Go look at what HSBC Mexican cartel, right? Look, huge money laundering scandal. Literally, like HSBC literally laundered like $881 million for the Mexican cartel. They were slapped on the wrist. Like banking industry is the biggest problem here. Like crypto represents a very small amount. The rest is done by the banking industry. And just look at the penalties that were stacked and the number of records that are stacked. And some of the stuff that you go on here and you just read it, it's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous. So honestly, I honestly feel like CZ was pushing crypto forward. Yes, he did take on some customers, but still, like he now he now took the fall, but honestly, he's released on bail, but he could go back. And the key here to remember, right? The key here is to remember that he did step on U.S. soil. This is him consciously stepping on U.S. soil. He was in Dubai, right? He was in the UAE. And a lot of times you have to remember, right? And I had to put this image up beforehand. See, CZ Binance conference virtual. CZ, if there's a conference involving CZ in America, CZ doesn't step foot in America. You have to remember this, right? Like this is one important factor that I feel like what makes this extremely bullish and separates this from not bullish is that if this was FUD, like if this wasn't planned, it would be like something on the news would be like, oh, CZ got caught in some airport and he got deported to the US, right? That's not the case. CZ chose to walk and go to the US. CZ never steps foot in the US. If you look at all the conferences, all the events that happens in the US, CZ never steps foot in the US. He's always virtual, right? People, this is like, it's always virtual. CZ has attended a lot of virtual events because he doesn't want to go into countries that have US extradition rights, right? But now he did walk to Seattle to take this. So he knows that he's a fall guy, right? He knows he's a fall guy, right? And he knew the consequences. This was a calculated move on both ends. All right, so let's see what's going to happen next to Binance. There's actually a very, very good summary thread here. So yet again, CZ pleads on Reddit. This is by Spirited Success, just summarizing everything that's happening. So basically, the plea deal aims to allow Binance to continue its operations and involves fines of $4.3 billion. It's not a small amount, right? Well, it's basically to different departments. Let me just bring up. So I'm getting a little bit. It's hard for me to manage a lot of threads. So, anyways, let's go on this. Basically, continuous operations. Binance under Zhao's leadership was allowed to money launder and all those 4 cases. Impacts on Binance. Okay, executives have left already. We know this. Like people who wanted to leave Binance already left Binance. Zhao can retain his majority ownership, but prohibits him from having an executive role in Binance. Sentencing for Zhao would occur at a later date. So very likely he will have to take maybe those 15 months in jail, right? Sentencing is not decided yet, but it looks like 15 months, right? We got see Suzuki says I support CZ. Okay, so this deal does not include a settlement for the Securities and Exchange Commission, which sued Binance and Zhao for alleged violations of U.S. investor protection laws. So there's still gonna be SEC lawsuits going to go on in the future. But that being said, the DOJ side has been resolved, right? Department of Justice side, that's a criminal side, that's been resolved. So yeah, yet again, DOJ's investigation, CFTC resolution, and CZ is back into, can go back into UAE now that he's on, could possibly go back to UAE now that he's on bail. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting if he actually does it. Now I'm going to play a very short clip. I'm going to play a little short clip of the US side, the regulator side of what they think is going to happen. And yet again, let's see.
And let me be clear. We're also sending a message to the virtual currency industry more broadly today and for the future. If virtual currency exchanges and financial technology firms wish to realize the tremendous benefits of being part of the U.S. financial system and serving U.S. customers, they must play by the rules. And if they do not, the U.S. government will take action. And
This is very interesting if you read between the lines. Basically, this is Secretary Janet Yellen. She's basically having an iron fist down and saying, yo, you gotta play by the rules. This is America. All right. If you want Americans, you gotta play by America's rules. Right? That's exactly what she's saying. Right? She's like showing people, yo, you didn't play by the rules, you get fined $4.3 billion. CZ, you go to jail. This is America. You play by America's rules. But if you read between the lines, it means America wants to play, right? It's very clear here that America wants to play in crypto, right? This is why it's very, very positive for crypto. She's just saying, yeah, play by the rules. And if you read between the lines, very likely, right, they're going to let people move forward. Let the industry move forward. Industry is moving forward already. It's unfair, okay? It's in many ways it's unfair because yet again, Binance, first mover, lots real people, right? Could it get a license back in the day? No, there was no infrastructure set up, right? There's still a debate now of whether Bitcoin is a security or, well, okay. Actually, I have to correct myself. All right, finally, we have Gary Gensler saying after 1 minute of questioning that Bitcoin is not a security, but is Ethereum security? They still wishy-washy on that, right? The regulations just weren't in place. He had to move forward, right? CZ had to move forward. The crypto industry as a whole had to move forward. And I think it's a situation, if you just look at the meta landscape, I think regulators were blindsided by the power of cryptocurrencies. I think that was the key behind this, right? People thought this was a scam, all right? I was in this in 2012, right? In 2012, people thought, oh, magic internet money, Bitcoin's $10 back then, right? Bitcoin's $10. There's just these bunch of crazy nerds buying this, talking about, the new financial future. This is crap. They slept on it, right? The regulators slept on it. The lawmakers slept on it. They didn't provide the regulations possible, but now they want to tax it. That's the important aspect that we have to remember here. There's money involved. There's big money involved, right? The fact that Binance was able to just like out of their pocket, well, here's some money, right? Pay $4.3 million. Here, boom. Here's some money. That shows how much money they have, right? This industry grew faster than the lawmakers could react. And the lawmakers are starting to realize, more importantly as well, not only is crypto growing, but crypto will replace the traditional financial system. Crypto will replace what's happening on NASDAQ. It's just a matter of time. Hong Kong knows this already, right? If you look at the Asian regulation of what's happening with the VASP licenses, they allow the trading of securities, right? This is very, very important. There's various types of licensing, but they allow trading of digital, like crypto-based securities. Very, very important. Lawmakers didn't see this, right? The ones stuck in the past, which is basically America. America didn't see this at all. They didn't see the potential of this. They didn't realize that a lot of their tax money is going to be gone. The government tax money, that's going to be gone, which is one of the reasons why they're fining Binance so hard, so fast, is because they want to start collecting that money. The first payment, that's done already. The future payments, regulation, right? Everything needs to be regulated. Everything needs to be taxed. Regulation's gonna come, but then government's gonna say once you tax, once you pay the money, go for it, go ahead, go for it. And in the future, right? It's unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate to say this yet again. In the future, Binance might just appear as a page on this sheet, right? Oh, sure, here's another bunch of violations. Go, and pay some PR to hide that. That's what's happening in the financial industry. We want to change it, all right? But I do recognize that the big players in the future, they're just going to become another name on this list. They're just going to pay some penalties and call it a day, right? This was just the first penalty. I see this as the first penalty that Binance has to pay to get on this list. Oh, you're a big boy now. Pay some money. All right, prove that you're a big boy. All right, you are. Great. And now in the future, they're just going to get fined for whatever the hell they do, right? And you just read up on this. This is like really legit. Like the traditional financial industry, it's really fucked up, all right? And what I see here is that this is the first step for people to get into crypto. Once people are in crypto, you can self-custody, right? This is the power of crypto. Why everything's going forward. Like you can take a ledger, you can self-custody, you can keep your own funds, you can play with DeFi. The list goes on and on. Like we are true believers here. So, anyways, you guys know what's happening. So that's my take on. That's what my take is. This is why I feel this industry is going to be bullish from now on. Right. This is the first payment that Binance had to make to please regulators, to show that they're willing to pay the money. Americans are poor. All right. Why I say Americans are poor, because the DOJ last year in December, they issued out, they were not decided if they want to settle the case with money or not. They're basically saying they weren't really willing to be bribed. That was like happening like literally 11 months ago. They were saying we weren't ready to be bribed. But now they're like, okay, yeah, $4.3 billion, bam, right? Let's negotiate. They were talking about $5 billion yesterday, down to 4.3. Bam, it's okay. Take the deal. Let's go. All right. So, anyways, that's exactly what happened here. So, there was a question on the stream of who did they pay. There was a very, very good article on that. Let me just very quickly find that for you guys, because my sheets were a little bit of a mess. But let me see if I can find that in my browsing history to show you guys what charges do they face. Where did the money go, right? Let's see. All right, let's see. You know what? I'll do something smart here. Whilst we're doing that, let's play my ad for Bybit. So then I can start thinking. Bybit is a top cryptocurrency exchange, and now they are listing new coins the fastest with the most volume, which is pretty insane if you want to get in on all that crypto action. If you do want to join the Bybit exchange, there is a limited time offer, which is 50 free US dollars if you do the first KYC and you load more than $100 into the exchange. If you're interested, sign up with the link down below and you'll automatically get in this offer. Remember, it's only for the first 100 people to do so, so what are you waiting for? All right, so this is a better article. I'm just finding I read all these articles. It's just that saving them on before the stream was very, very difficult. So okay, so the Department of Justice, which negotiated a settlement with the Commodities Futures Trading CFTC and the Treasury Department, seeking 18-month imprisonment sentence for Zhao, the maximum suggested under federal guidelines, the New York Times said. So yet again, 18 months in prison. They're seeking that. Right now he's on bail, but very likely they can talk this down. Very likely they can talk it to 15 or 12 months, maybe even 6 months. Binance will pay $1.81 billion in 15 months and a further $2.51 billion forfeiture as a part of a deal, prosecutors said. So this is a combination of CFTC, Treasury Department, and the DOJ. There was a better article, honestly. Like I found a better one where the money is going, like, and how much is being set apart for future resolutions. So a portion of the money is actually set up for future use as well. Let me just see if there's a better yeah, so the settlement comes with a 3.4 billion penalty to FinCEN. So basically, the AML anti-terrorism agency, and then $968 billion to OFAC. So this is where the money is gonna go. It's kind of funny, like, oh, Binance turned a blind eye to this. Like, dude, they're running a huge company. They went from zero to billions. What do you expect, guys? But yet again, something I want to say is that if you look at all this, it's just protection money, right? And we're discussing this a little bit earlier with people in the industry, and we're just saying Binance had to pay some protection money. It's either they pay for protection to the Americans or to the Chinese. All right, there's at this point, Binance has grown to such a large industry, and the potential is so massive that everyone wants a bit of the pie. And there needs to be, and everyone basically means that a country with military backing, right? So it's either China, US, or European, you're in Europe, with significant military backing, with some significant political sway. Something that I said last stream yesterday, this is on the Boxmining testnet channel, is that what's crazy about international law is that there is no law. You make up the law. And it's your military strength that makes up the law, which is why America's so strong, right? America's military is the strongest, military. China's getting stronger military. Everyone wants strong military. I think Russia's the only one with a weak-ass military right now. But it's all about who has a stick, right? They need a country with a stick backing them. And it was a situation where I think Binance had to decide, right? We're discussing this. Binance had to decide whether to side with the Americans, get the Americans to protect them, or get the Chinese to protect them. Right? If the Americans were going super hard, it was very likely that Binance would be pushed towards the Chinese, and that would be quite crazy, right? Because the Chinese have insane deal terms, right? Look at what happened to OKX, right? Just look further. But on the other side, Binance going to the Americans, that's quite interesting. So they sided with the Americans, they paid the fine, right? They said, yeah, sure, we're going to pay the fine, no problem. And it's very clear here that Binance has the money to pay the fines, right? The Americans won't say, oh yeah, please give us money, and then not take and take customer funds, right? They were very clear. I think they're very likely, like they had to look at the books, right? Which is why Binance is very touting the fact that there was no user funds being used, right? Yet again, they were never charged with that. Never charged with taking users' funds, misappropriating user funds. User funds are safe, right? Quite interesting there, quite interesting. So they made a fuck ton of money, right? This is basically what I'm saying here. Binance can easily pay this off, and Americans are happy to take money from Binance, knowing that it's full well that's not customer funds. So, anyways, interesting. All right, so I have a list here. So let me see what we cover. So CZ pleads guilty, enters U.S. court intentionally. AML charges, taking U.S. customers, taking Iranian customers. CZ to be released on bail, so he's being released. Binance Point pays $4.3 billion. We read between the lines. Bullish for crypto, right? Those are my notes for today's stream. We also know that He Yi is really in charge. They're putting Richard Ten as now the face for Binance, so we expect him to dance around for us a little bit, telling us funds are safe. That's the usual here. CZ is now officially a martyr, I would think. He sacrificed himself for this. I feel like all this was done in a hurry so that crypto can move forward. We also see there's talks right now, like we've been seeing this nonstop, but these are unconfirmed. But this is from Borovic. But this is unconfirmed. But SEC just met with Grayscale for a spot Bitcoin ETF listing, memo show. So yet again, these regulated exchange, these old players, they need to have a foot in this, right? If you just think about how logically this is that old money, right? These old traditional institutions, they're leveraging their power with regulators, with the army, with military force, if they have to, that they're gonna put themselves forward, and it's very likely that U.S. regulated exchange will come out. I think that might be the next big surprise that we'll see, right? We already see these ETFs, but then when's the next exchange, right? Like there's a power play here. Bring the current crypto institutions down, right? Binance. Maybe there's more to come. I mean, off the top of my head, there's all the other exchanges. They could be targeted. So, this is part and parcel of crypto. But then we're going to have, guess what? BlackRock, right? Guess what? ARK Investment. They can all come over with exchanges. This is exactly what's happening in Hong Kong, right? Hong Kong Exchange Hashkey, right? Hash Group Key Exchange. This is from a more compliant entity, right? And this is from the Hashkey Fund, right? These funds now set up exchanges, and because they worked with these regulators from the get-go, traditional institutions are going to come in and just set up their exchanges. So I don't see why Goldman Sachs can't set up their own crypto exchange, right? They'll be like, yo, we're here, come, regulators, push down our competition, bring us up. This is 100% what this is. What is happening, but compliant with regulations, licensed by the Securities and Futures Commission of Hong Kong with Type 1 license and a Type 7 license. Exactly. This is what we're going to see with future exchanges coming out of the US. Yes, BlackRock Exchange saying, yeah, we're licensed with the SEC. We pay our taxes. We pay fines too if things go wrong. And we have great AML because that's our strength, right? That is our strength. The strength is great AML and KYC and all these banking terms. This is exactly what's going to happen to the crypto industry in the near future. I think, oh no, I think I offended some people on chat. Please let me not comment on politics. I realized, guys, I'll have to make an apology of commenting on politics. I realized that commenting on politics is horrible. There was once, I think, someone made a comment at a conference, and the Russians and Ukrainians that were there just attacked each other. It was not great. I will try to be politically neutral. My view on politics has always been that it's a gigantic shit show. I want to contribute, but I don't have the power to contribute in politics. I don't have military strength. I don't have an army. So I don't comment on crypto because it's pointless for me. For me, it's any discussion on politics is a waste of money. All right. And I hope you guys adopt that mentality too. We're here to make money. We're in crypto. We're here to make money. Right. And anytime that people can spend 3 hours raging, that is money lost, right? That is like, just think about that. That's productivity lost, right? Let's look at shit coins. Let's buy some coins. Let's look at the future. Let's look at what's going to happen to crypto. Let's press those buttons, all right? No politics, all right? So I hope you guys stop talking about politics in the chat, all right? Oh my God. Like ripping the people off. Like, gosh. Come on. Let's make some money, guys. That's what we're here for. Right, here for reading between the lines, making some money. So that's what the episode is prepared for today. We show you guys what's happening. There was also something quite interesting yesterday. OKX applied for they officially applied. All right. Let's see. Oh wow, no OKX, not these ones. OKX, SMP. So. All right, here. This is a better one. Apparently, Google is a little bit slow, but crypto giant OKX applies for a Hong Kong license, becoming the first major exchange to file for the Surf City's virtual asset scheme. All right, that's what's happening in Asia, guys. Biggest exchange in China was previously the biggest exchange is OKCoin, OKX. All right, they have applied to file for the city's first virtual asset scheme. It's all a show, okay? What's happening in Asia is all a show. This is all a show. They submitted the application. We knew this was going on, right? We knew, if you guys saw my video at Hong Kong Hong Kong FinTech Week, they had a giant stall, right? And this is their way of getting back into the game. This is their way of saying, and it's also the government kind of like saying, because they wouldn't put out publications like this unless they knew they had a significant chance of getting it, right? But what's important here is that you have to remember that the OKX, they were the biggest Chinese exchange. This is before Binance, right? OKX and Huobi both were the biggest, largest Chinese exchanges. They had bank accounts, they took on fiat. They allowed Chinese people to buy cryptocurrencies, and then they got cracked down in the 2017 crackdown. But what did they do, right? They chose the other way. Binance chose to please Americans. OKX and Huobi had no choice but please the Chinese. Chinese took control over of these companies. They're essentially government-run entities now, right? It's all in but name, but the shares, they've been transferred to people who are friendly with the Chinese government. The shares have been transferred. The government ownership has been transferred. Now they're pretty much, what this is saying is that, OKX is pretty much a legit entity now, right? They've gone through the legit route. They're fully under Chinese control, and now that China's really letting them apply for the Hong Kong license, I wouldn't be surprised if they get it. This is not like, oh yeah, we clicked the application button. This is a serious application. This is a part of the game, right? And we knew, like, this is the FinTech Week video. You guys saw there was a giant OKX booth. I'm not sure if I featured that, but the two exchanges that's really was present there was OKX and Hashkey. And these are government-run events, right? You guys have to remember these are government. This event was organized by the Financial and Treasury Bureau of Hong Kong, right? So the fact that they allowed OKX to have a huge booth here, right? These are all approved by the government, right? By the Chinese government. Right, so they went the other way. So if you want to compare and contrast what's happening with these exchanges, Binance went for the American side, they paid the fines. OKX, they went for the Chinese side, they said, you know what, gave up ownership, gave up shares, right, gave up control, but now they're going the legit route, they're allowed to proceed. So Blade Runner said, say HK now Hashkey and OKX. So yeah, so Hashkey is the new exchange that's done by one, technically speaking, it's Hashkey Group, but the guy behind Hashkey Group is Dr. Xiaofeng, and Xiaofeng has been one of the biggest supporters of Ethereum, Wansheng Group, Fenbushi Group, Hashkey Group. So Hashkey Group, literally, Xiaofeng opened up this exchange, right? So they went through the regulatory route because they had deep Chinese connections. So this is the regulated new exchange, and then Hong Kong will also allow OKX, which is pretty much like it's been converted to a Chinese entity. So anyways, that's the other route that these exchanges took. So OKX went with China, Binance went with America. I think that's for us people who are in the industry. That's what's happening. But Asia's moving very fast on that front because I think at the end of the day, guys, this is proof. All right, this is proof that crypto is going to overtake traditional finance. Traditional finance and the traditional political infrastructure wouldn't be so interested in crypto if it weren't for the amount of money and the potential here. That's a fact, right? Even in Yellen's speech, she's like, yeah, people got to play by the rules. But that means that she also recognizes how powerful crypto is going to be. If this is all going to crash to zero, like what people are saying in 2012, 2016, oh, Bitcoin's just a fad. What was the things they were saying? It's like tulips. It's a next Ponzi scheme. If this was the case, right, these crypto exchanges wouldn't be allowed to exist. There wouldn't be regulation coming out. There wouldn't be enforcement. There wouldn't be these deals. And I would still call this kind of like a shady deal with the Americans. You can see that the Americans just wanted money. It's just a shady deal, right? This wouldn't have happened if crypto was going to go to zero tomorrow, right? We wouldn't have those ETFs coming in. So now where are we at for the prices of crypto and everything? So now we have time to react, right? So initially there was a big dump. BNB took a huge loss, right? BNB pumped on the news. Oh, yesterday was a fine, but so this is a good it was interesting. So yesterday BNB pumped because it was like, oh yeah, it's just a fine. DOJ, they're just talking about fine. It's okay. But CZ went to jail, which surprised people, right? It surprised me. It surprised the market. It surprised me. CZ went to jail. CZ became the fall guy, and I think the willingness of CZ to take the fall so quickly, that is extremely important. So even though this is down, even though BNB is down, I see this as an enormous positive. People were just concerned. I think why BNB dumped so hard is people are concerned because CZ was such a good figurehead. He was such a good leader. He was such a good figurehead. People trusted him, but he wasn't the only one in charge of Binance. Binance is a huge structure. He Yi has had control for a long ass time, right? So now basically CZ can I'll be honest, like CZ's probably going to control the exchange remotely. He's not going to have any formal rules. He's not going to be a public figurehead, all right? He's now forbidden from doing that as part of the deal, but he still owns the shares of Binance, right? He wasn't forced to transfer shares. He wasn't forced. Like I think if you went the Chinese route, if you tried to please the Chinese side, he would have had to give up a majority of his shares in Binance to people friendly with the Chinese government, right? That would have been the case, and then the Chinese can overrule any decisions that Binance makes. But CZ did not have to give up his shares. He just had to. He takes a deal, 18 months potentially in jail. The company continues running. He intentionally walked into America. He walked into Seattle court. He hasn't stepped foot in America for a long ass time ever since starting Binance. But he chose to go there. He didn't hide. He didn't hide away. He didn't like buy different passports and hide away and try to run, right? He didn't. He said, I'm a man. He's gonna walk up there and say, yo, Just do it. Just do the worst, right? And that is why this is extremely bullish, because this is all intentional. This is all set up so that Binance can move forward, pay the fines, move forward, siding with the Americans, and then right, and then we'll see that explosion come, because now that the Americans have control over the biggest exchange in crypto, they have control, right? They have a direct access to them. There's a direct line of communication. We know now, right? This is proof. There's a direct line of communication. If there's any problems, they're just gonna slap on more fines. They know that this route's open now, and then crypto can move forward, right? Those manipulation charges, none. No manipulation charges, no misappropriated funds. Binance is clean as hell. Move forward, right? It's just you took Americans. Okay, cool, great. Anyways, so that's my take, guys. Lots to do, lots of altcoins to take a look at as well. I've been super busy over the past few weeks, but this channel we're spinning up more live streams like this. So guys, thank you for tuning in today. Smash up those likes if you can as well to the Boxmining channel. Subscribe. Click the button here. There's a button that says subscribe. All right, you have to sign in, but subscribe. Click the notification bell. That's super important. I'll show you guys a subscribe button because it's that important, all right, guys. So subscribe. Just click that subscribe button, click the notification bell so you get notified of these live streams. We always live stream the important stuff, and we always give you another angle to look at, which is super important. All right, don't just read into the FUD that's happening right now. Right now, it's the biggest FUD wave, right? Everyone's talking, oh my God, Binance guilty. So in a way, I had to put that as the live stream image, but everyone's gonna talk about Binance guilty. Oh my God, this is the biggest thing, and CZ just pled guilty. Oh my God, right? Mainstream media is gonna like bury him, but we know that he's just a martyr. He literally is crypto Jesus now, right? Literally crypto Jesus. He literally sacrificed himself so the industry can move forward and grow, right? That's gonna be insane. Dickie Megigas Cat says, do what Michael says. Subscribe, guys. Longtime subscriber, 10 out of 10 alpha info. Thank you guys so much for supporting the stream today. Thank you. Chad Limestall says, I'm in the Seattle area. I'm curious if you're in Seattle, can you see CZ? I have never ever seen CZ in America, so it's a sight, right? I've been following this industry. I've been going to events. You never ever see CZ in the US unless he takes a deal, all right? So he sacrificed himself. He willingly sacrificed himself. He walked up and sacrificed himself. All right, that's insane. That's not sponsored by cola. Some people are commenting about cola. Not sponsored by cola, but that's the only thing I drink, and it's the no sugar one. I can't drink sugar anymore. But anyways, all right, that's it for crypto. I think in terms of our price action, I definitely see. I was kind of hoping for a bigger Black Friday discount. Black Friday is coming, guys. I was hoping for a bigger Black Friday discount. I made jokes about this like 3-4 years ago. That's it. Like, oh my God, I'm doing a live stream and it's Black Friday and crypto is like 20% on discount, guys. It's like $3,000 for Bitcoin. Buy. Well, now Bitcoin is $36,000. Been in this space for way too long. But yeah, we didn't even have to touch the 34K support line here. We pretty much bounced back as traders, as Asia's waking up. They're saying that this is bullish, because yesterday you have to remember that there was a lot of FUD that happened immediately because people were like, oh my God, enforcement action, oh my God, holy crap, right? They didn't know what was happening, and now the cloud is over, the uncertainty is over, it's out, it's painful. Yes, CZ fell. He no longer can cheer us up. Our biggest cheerleader in the space has fallen, all right? But Binance still is alive. Binance is still alive. All right. Miss Archie says, why did he plead? I feel like he pled because it was a good deal. There was a comment here that this is not my comment. Okay, this is not my comment, but there was a comment on my WhatsApp, and I'll read it up for you guys. This is my comment. Let me just read the comment. So this is a joke, okay? Please don't kill me for this. So they basically said, He probably said, hey, you must go. You must sacrifice yourself. Right? He controlling this, like, you must do this for Binance, right? For our baby. You must do this. And then CZ says yes, good soldier, good soldier. Just took one for the team. He took one for the team, pled guilty, can restart, resurrect. Feels like a bad day, but honestly, he was sent, right? He was sent to plead guilty. It's sad for him. It's sad, right? But 18 months, it's not that bad, right? 18 months, not that bad potentially. And then he's out. Then he's out. He sacrificed himself. So, someone had to do it. I think at the end of the day, the evidence piled up so much, right? That someone had to be blamed. The DOJ needed to slam their fists down, right? They needed to have that Yellen the Yellen speech. She had to come out and say, yeah, we found the baddies. We found the baddies. All right.
Answers also required.
We found the baddies. With like you got to play by our rules, right? Yellen had to come out and say that, right?
That it can support responsible innovation. It's not meant to end cryptocurrency activities, but to the extent they occur, it must be consistent with U.S. law.
U.S.
It's
law,
regime.
right? She's got someone's got to fall. So CZ just literally became a fall guy. Like you can't even make this up, right? It feels like it's a situation where like you can't make this stuff up. You really cannot make this stuff up. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's like literally, yep, yeah. We found a bad guy. All right. We find him. We gave him a big fine. We're rich now. All right. And then yeah, everything's good. And now they're under our control. They're gonna comply. It's gonna be great. Jesus. So yeah, what does CZ had to do it? He had to. Kenneth A. Wedden says, is Zhao Sanpeng living in Singapore or Dubai? I read conflicting reports. I wonder whether his parents are still there in Canada. If so, he returned to visit occasionally, especially while in Seattle. So he doesn't set foot in North America. So you never, like, if you follow him by conferences and read between the lines, every time there's an event and you see CZ, it will always be a virtual event. So anywhere in North America, he doesn't touch because Canada is actually very friendly with North America, right? So he's actually more residing in UAE, but he was residing in Singapore for a long time. And he really keeps his identity a secret. You have to remember that CZ doesn't want to publish, yo, my identity is here, find me, right? Like these guys, they keep it secret. This is why you're seeing conflicting reports. So what we get to go by is by reading between the lines. Oh, we see there's an event in Turkey. Oh, is CZ there or not? Right? Or is He there or not? What are they risking? Right? Like to go there. Like last time in the Binance event in Hong Kong, right? Binance had a boat party. I was actually invited onto that boat party, but CZ wasn't there and He wasn't there, right? Because they didn't feel comfortable setting foot on Hong Kong soil. Right, so He actually came in. She did her question and answer via via virtual, and it was quite interesting because it was on a boat, right? So they invited people on a party on a boat, and then they casted He on a big screen, and then we all got to ask questions like EJ, and there was a lot of big questions that are being added because there's a lot of that event had a lot of Binance influencers on there. So it's like, oh EJ, please answer this question, right? Referring to He. She's Sister Yi, and that's how Chinese speak. But they don't feel comfortable stepping in Hong Kong. They don't feel comfortable stepping in US and America. They in US, there's a lot of countries they don't feel comfortable stepping down on foot on. So yeah, that's quite important. But what's happening? Sartosi says CZ and SBF lunchtime jail brawl. But the difference here was that SBF used user funds, right? He's going to go in jail for a long ass time, for this. Masonati 2020 says, hey, further BIP dying opportunity or will it dip more? So this is okay. So there's a reason why I spot bought Bitcoin. All right. And here I'm not aggressively trading because we still have a bit of uncertainty in terms of the news front in the next few days. We know that crypto is extremely volatile, but I do know that I want to enter in crypto. All right. I still have some funds that I took from last market that I want to plow back into crypto, which is why I'm stacking up on spot markets. I'm basically DCAing these few weeks, but I've seen a window to buy crypto is really shrinking. All right. We're approaching the end of November. We're gonna step into December. December could be quiet, right? December could be very quiet. It could be some opportunities to buy there. So which is why, yet again, I'm dollar cost averaging between now and the end of this year. But the issue here is that the ETF is coming very, very soon, right? ETF there are estimates of 90%. This is from Bloomberg, 90% chance of a Bitcoin ETF, right? Sorry, Bitcoin ETF, 90% chance of approval. Yet again, because U.S. spot approval has 90% odds. Like there were. This was by some analysts, James Sefriot, right? But because the deadline for the first Bitcoin ETF is the final deadline for the ARK shares ETF, that's gonna be on the first, sorry, not the first, the 10th of January. That's the final deadline. Then we have another army of ETF filings, final deadlines approaching in March, right? I want to buy my Bitcoin before that time, right? Those are the two big catalysts for next year, right? One is the ETF approval. Very likely they're going to approve it because now the Americans have the biggest crypto exchange under control. And yes, the biggest crypto exchange was not manipulating the market, right? That's a key. That's key here. This is very key. Reading the little end print down there. Oh yeah, Binance was not accused of manipulating the market. They didn't manipulate the market. So there's sufficient reason for these ETFs to go through. Right? Now we have that further piece. Like two more big motivators: US control of Binance and US acknowledgement that Binance did not manipulate these markets. Right? So ETFs likely to go through this. SEC is running out of reasons to reject this. And then we have the Bitcoin halving coming in. That's a little bit later, okay? Bitcoin halving countdown. That's gonna happen mid next year. Just need to find a good website for these things. All right, let's just throw the Binance one. All right, let's get the countdown. 142 days, right? Yet again, right? This one. That's why I feel like the window is shrinking. Usually, that being said, Bitcoin always moved 6 months after the halving. So maybe if you're just basing your, if you're using halving as the biggest motivator, then yeah, you still have a year to wait. But that being said, I see ETFs being huge, and I see regulatory friendliness next year being huge because of the speed of how fast Asia is moving, right? The Americans know that there's pressure, right? OKX just filed for the Hong Kong license, for the exchanges, all right? There's a lot happening here. There's talk about this the other exchange license being purchased as well by these big crypto exchanges. So Hong Kong yet again now becoming the forefront, right? Because Asia's stepping up and saying, yeah, if you Americans, if you don't do anything, we're gonna regulate this shit. We're gonna allow securities to be traded on there, and we have the future. So bye bye. And I think that's what's happening now. The crackdown's happening, and then they're just saying, Yellen's coming out having an iron fist saying, yes, like if you want to play by the rules. But then once you play by the rule, the American government's gonna protect you. Then it becomes this, right? Then it becomes, oh, you violated some problems. Okay, here's a bunch of penalties. Move on forward, right? So I guess I'm happy, sad moment. I'm extremely bullish. I'm happy that crypto's moving forward. I'm sad that at this phase we haven't disrupted this financial system yet. Yet again, crypto has to play by the traditional finance rules before crypto completely destroys everything. Then we have self-custody and everything in place. So it's happy, sad, but I understand that traditional finance needs to come in at some point, and traditional infrastructure, old money needs to come in at some point, and now we have the opportunity. So anyways, that's it for today's stream, guys. I'm gonna let you go, guys. Now that's a very, very long stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you smash up the likes. All right, make sure you smash up the button, smash up the like button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Lots of new viewers today, so make sure you guys subscribe. And if you guys are watching on other platforms, give me some feedback because I'm streaming this on Twitch, on Twitter, and everything. Yeah, but other than that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys soon. Also, by the way, last call for this. I'll do this as a last call. So now that you guys are here, I'll do a last invite to the private group that we have. Right? There's a private group, and then there's also a private group now. But there's a private group for us, for all enthusiasts, for all believers. It's a very active group, so you guys will get a lot of messages, but it's a lot of alpha there for people. So I'm gonna throw that link out on this page right now. So there we go. All right, we'll throw that out. Make sure you join. I'll probably close that group at around 1,000 people. I think that's the limit. But guys, thank you guys so much for watching, guys. See you guys next time. So many new people. So really thank you for watching. See you guys. Peace.